everyone, and welcome to This Week at LogTrade. I actually lost what episode we are on?
7.
7.
It should be 8, but we didn't record last week, so it's 7. So this is a little bit delayed.
Yeah.
But things happen sometimes.
Do we have a reason for that?
No. We wanted to wait for Sweden to have its first female prime minister elected before we did this recording, and that happened this morning. This is the Wednesday of 24th of November. So a little bit polite for our society. We waited for this moment until we recorded. That's why we're a little bit delayed.
Everyone's gonna be confused now.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I know.
I'm glad that we are recording again, and today we actually have a couple of topics, right? We have to comment or talk about Black Week or Black Friday. It's just getting longer and longer, this type of reason to sell too much.
Next year we probably will have like a black month or a black quarter or black 6 months. I don't know how they're going to extend this, because Black Week seems to be the new standard, going from Black Friday. And then you have this Monday also that was introduced a couple of years ago, the Monday after the Friday.
Yeah, Cyber Monday.
It's really weird.
And then we had the Single Days. Single Days was...
Yeah, and that was 2 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. And I know it's a subject that often gets a couple of discussions, and it has been for a couple of years. And it is boring to discuss this again, but at the same time, it is so surprising that we still are doing this.
Yeah. I thought, I'm much older than you. You always remember me on this, or make me to remember it. When I was a child, I thought the only time in a year when you can buy cheap stuff was actually after Christmas.
Yeah.
They called it, I think, that was the only time they used the Swedish word rea.
Yeah, I remember that as well, even if I'm not that old. This has changed so much. I remember going to high school and waiting for the Christmas sale. But now, whenever you go into a store or go online, there's always a so-called mid-season sale, right?
Yeah. And Black Week, Black Friday has had some problems, because I think it was last year or the year before, there were a lot of retailers being accused for not selling on sale, just selling on the ordinary price level, but calling it sales. So I saw this year that a lot of retailers are actually being more transparent with what the price was before and the price now. But in a digital world, if you haven't made a copy of their complete website, how could you know that this is transparently and correct?
You don't know that.
No.
At the same time, I'm just feeling that enough is enough. We can't go one more year having those over-consuming sales with the purpose to sell too much. It is. I'm just looking forward to when we are selling stuff when people actually needs it.
I think it's only one solution on that, and that is to get the people out of the decision. Because we are a creature starting out as a collector and hunter. That's the thing we could do that other creatures or species couldn't do. We can use tools, and we can hunt, and we can collect. And this collection part and hunting part is still in our DNA. And if someone says, here is another television for half the price, we think it's always good to have an extra television. And of course that works when you are 100 people in a village but it doesn't work when you are like 7 billion people on the earth saying it's always good to have an extra television. That doesn't work anymore. It's crazy, and we have to see this. And television is just an example. I think you can go to any product, you know, furnitures, decoration products, things for your bathroom, in your kitchen. Just ask any Swede or American how many things in the kitchen that they never use. It's probably 50%.
Yeah,
of what I bought, at least, that is never used. And then I say, how many things in your kitchen are really seldom used? Maybe we're up to 80% of the things. A lot of things in people's kitchen is just decoration, but they should be used.
Yeah.
But they are never used. I was always joking before when I was renting houses in the US, and the kitchen gear was never used because they always pick up food from restaurants, so they never use it. And that was so typical when you rent the house, because it was new stuff, not even unpacked, you know.
Yeah.
And now I see the same thing here happening, and in many areas. And this is not a good society. And I think lowering the price, doing campaigns like Black Friday is actually a driver of this.
And I there's one thing with overconsumption, and there is something that rarely anyone speaks about, what's happening with the environment when right now we haven't gone to self-driving vehicles, and we are actually increasing the system from a logistical perspective during this period. It's horrible.
Yeah, and at the same time, we read in the newspaper and hear on the news that it's very, very bad work conditions in the logistics and transport sector. They actually found out yesterday from the Swedish government that we have immigrants coming to Sweden, illegal, living on the floor in the logistics company, working there for handling the warehouses and the distribution. And this is really, really so bad for the industry and for the society, and it's driven by our demand of an extra television.
Yeah. So yeah, you know our opinion on this. That's pretty clear, I believe, but I would love to see a change in this. And I think it's like this topic that you speak about, and nothing actually happens. And the worst
Can
part—
we invent a new period, a new extra Friday next year to have Repair My Friday?
Yeah.
Collect everything you thought you were going to replace with the new stuff and repair it.
Yeah.
And share it on whatever media platform you're using. Don't use Facebook, but or any of Facebook's, or Meta. Don't use Meta world. Whatever you call it, Insta or WhatsApp, whatever. Don't use that one, but share it on I don't know where to share it then. Maybe you can share it on LinkedIn. Microsoft is trying to get that work for everyone. So you can share it on, it's boring, I know, if you're 20 to share your repairment on LinkedIn. But anyway, yeah, I would promote that. The big Friday for repairing.
Yeah, something like that instead. But yeah, looking forward to change. I don't want to mention this anymore. It's too boring. And
need to pause.
let's speak about our next topic. SSAB did a really nice campaign, right?
Yeah, and for you that doesn't know that, SSAB is the Swedish producer of steel, now turning into producing the world's first, not the world's first, but the world's first in large production, green produced steel. And one of their big customer is Volvo Group. And Volvo Group, if you don't know it, is both manufacturers of trucks in different brands. In the US, it's Mack, for instance. And they also produces buses. And what they are world leading in is actually construction equipment, construction machines. And in this ad, SSAB was actually promoting one of their dumpers. And it was an interesting detail with this ad, Sarah. What was that?
Yeah, it was a self-driving one without needing a driver or a person.
There was no driver in the ad, and it was not even comment. So
And
this is the new dumper, and there was no driver, and they didn't talk about there was no driver because that seems to be the new normal for a dumper. But it was other stuff that they put there that made you interested.
And it was the whole text that I'm so in love with that was in this ad. This dumper help us to not go to other planets, but to save our own.
Actually, it can go to other planets because it doesn't have a driver.
Yeah, but we don't have
But it
to.
doesn't have to because it can work here for us.
Let's save our own planet, actually.
Yeah.
And this is interesting because when we used to speak about this a couple of years ago, everyone just said, yeah, but that is 20 years from now, you know, the self-driving vehicles of some kind, that's 20 years from now. And it has only been 2 years, 3 years from when we heard those comments, and now it's in an ad for a company like SSAB that they are using the driving dumpers.
Without a comment, just a comment saving the earth.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. You know, it's in the historical perspective, when changes come, it goes in 9 months.
Yeah.
And we are closing up to that 9 months period. Probably not on the street, but in harbors, airports, mines, definitely. We see that here, and other closed areas. This is a fact. This is now.
Yeah.
And that's really interesting how fast parts of things goes and how slowly other part of things goes.
And this is often like when this changes, like automation or going to a robot society, it always some kind starts within the industry, right? And you take like roads and general things comes a little bit later. But it's interesting that people were thinking, or many people thinking, well, this is so far in the future. Almost like it's not in my lifetime, so I don't have to care.
You remember this Pixar movie, Wall-E?
Yeah.
We have Wall-E now.
Yeah.
That's the dumper.
Yeah.
And Hollywood is always seeing all this stuff coming, you know. They saw the internet before the internet was created in Back to the Future and flying cars, and they didn't really figure out that we should communicate instead of traveling, but that was the globalization and the internet coming up. They were always seeing this stuff, you know, the exploration of the DNA. They saw that in the 60s with this early version of the movie, The Fly, and so on and so on. So if you want to know what will happen in the coming 30 years, go to a movie.
Watch a movie. And
watch a movie. Don't go to universities. Watch movies and have fun and eat popcorn. That's where you will find the future.
I don't think that's a good advice. But anyway.
Otherwise, the university will fix it so it will be correct, but you will have more fun.
But you always say that Hollywood is always right, and going to our next subject then about Hollywood being right. Now, I just
NASA,
yeah, they are protecting us from what?
From being killed in the future, hopefully, because today, a couple of hours ago, still it's 24th of November, NASA was launching DART, a designed vehicle, we can call it vehicle, or if I'm a kid, I can call it a rocket. It's more for fun. A designed weapon lookalike rocket. That's the great stuff. Weapon lookalike rocket, like in Tintin going to moon. And they launched it this morning in order to have it to crash with a meteorite. And the reason for that is actually to train on doing this when we need to.
Yeah.
Because they think from a theoretical perspective that it was a meteorite crashing with Earth, killing the dinosaurs.
And the same thing.
Creating different happenings during the, I think it was 1100, 1200 after Christ, where we actually could read a newspaper in Sweden all the time, 24 hours a day, because a meteorite was crashing in Africa and it put some powder in the atmosphere that was lighting up the complete Earth for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And what they are trying to protect us from is this happening again and killing the humankind.
And who was doing that first? Hollywood. Bruce Willis was going out to space to save us from meteorite coming in. I don't remember the name of that movie, but you can Google it.
Yeah.
You know, now when we have Google, it doesn't mean anything if you don't remember stuff. You can always Google it.
Yeah.
This will make us quite stupid, actually. Or anyway, yeah.
And
so look into this. This is an interesting development, an interesting thing. And at the same time, if you didn't know that, yesterday I heard about this news. Yesterday was also the day Sweden actually launched its first legal new law regulating the use of space.
Yeah, interesting.
That was yesterday, 23rd of November. So, and why do we do this? Because there are a lot of private companies and governments wanting to use the space. So we actually regulated the use of space in our law.
Yeah, and it's interesting because they are talking a lot about the commercial trips now to space, and they have already started. It's just too expensive for.
Yeah,
so
but most of them are not out in the orbit. It's pre-orbit, so
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
it's fake. It's a little bit of fake. It's a little bit like saying you got internet, but you only have one website.
Yeah, but it's something
Still a website.
It's where it started, right?
Yeah, I know.
You can chat on MSN.
yeah, with yourself.
Yeah. but
that's a really boring person in the other end of internet. I'm not going to be here anymore, you know. So
yeah, but this may be the same development, right?
Yeah, it will be, and it will move us into new conclusion and understanding of things in completely different areas than space travel, of course. So this will really help us to do stuff in the future, hopefully to get older. Everybody's looking for that, probably. But one thing the science haven't solved yet, that is actually the misunderstanding of Sweden and Switzerland.
Yeah.
Happened again yesterday when World Health Organization actually based where? In Geneva, in Switzerland. That's where the head office are. They actually went out telling the world that Sweden was one of 4 countries with very low spread of COVID-19. 2 hours later, they have to go out again and saying, we were meaning Switzerland, not Sweden.
But
this is amazing bad.
But the fun thing about this is that Sweden, in the meantime, between they corrected, means Sweden went out and said, well, we are one of those.
Yeah, definitely, because we don't have our own data, probably. And today they corrected everything, so now we're going to have the 3rd shot for every person in Sweden over 18 years in the coming months, because everything changed from this mistake. So let's take our responsibility and give some hints about what is the difference between Sweden and Switzerland. So the first thing is that Switzerland never stolen any mountains from the original people living there. We did. That's number 1. Do you have anyone, Sarah?
in Switzerland, everything is working. In Sweden, obviously it's not.
Yeah, that's the huge difference. I can also say in Switzerland, they have high quality chocolate. We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't. You know, we have these Marabou chocolate cakes. That's not even chocolate. And if we should go back to something we talked about a couple of episodes, oh boy, that's not even chocolate. So Switzerland has good chocolate, and we don't. So do we have another?
In Switzerland, historically, there's where the companies or the entrepreneurs open a bank account and put their money, not in Sweden.
Not only entrepreneurs. Now we come to a thing where we're different again. Sweden has been in a conflict with Russia since 1600. They say we started it. I don't know. I wasn't there. So I don't know. Switzerland has been friend with all rich oligarchic Russia since then.
Yeah.
Even when the EU says you can't bring your money to EU, Switzerland says, no, you don't need to bring them here. And they help them. That's another difference.
Okay, we shouldn't continue. There's so many differences, but Switzerland.
Yeah, so please next time check out these differences. If you think the country stole their mountains, it's Sweden. If they didn't, it's Switzerland. Both, the only lookalike actually is that both, and this is quite funny, both countries has marine defense.
Mm.
And Switzerland is not located next to any sea.
Mm.
But they still have a boat, and they have that in a harbor from either France or Italy, depending on what type of boat. I think they have 2 boats, actually. That's interesting. And another lookalike is that Switzerland and Sweden is probably the 2 countries in Europe with most fresh drinkable water in the territory.
But even if this is, a little bit of a fun thing, it is really, really common that those 2 countries get so confused all over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really weird. So please double check next time you use Switzerland or Sweden, at least for the Swiss sake, because I don't know if we are the one that should be confused about being called Swiss. Maybe that's good for us, I don't know, but if I were a Swiss member, I wouldn't be called Swede, actually. Because then you're part of stealing your mountains, you know. No, anyway, so I have a media tip this week too.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, Ted Lasso. I can't say who produced it or where you can find it because I'm supposed not to mention that company's name anymore in this pod. Sara told me that she would close it down after that, so I can't mention who it is that has produced it or where you can find it. But it's the best TV series on earth, and you don't need to be interested in either American football or English soccer to enjoy it. I wasn't looking at it because I thought it was about soccer, and I'm not a soccer interested person at all. And I said, I will not look. It's like me playing FIFA or something. That would never happen. But it's not about that. So please watch it, enjoy it, have fun. At a place I can't tell you.
Okay, guys, that's our media tip for today. And I think, today's episode was a little bit more of a casual one. Looking forward to watch or record. I will not watch it, record next week. And hopefully we will have a guest then.
Yeah. Okay. Take care, guys. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.